Our next topic for discussion is graph coloring, and it finds applications in scheduling problems and timetable allocation problems and many more. As part of this, we will look at vertex coloring and edge coloring. Let's focus on vertex coloring. The other one is similar to this. What is a coloring? Coloring is an assignment of colors, an assignment of colors to vertices. But what we will focus on is something called proper coloring. What is a proper coloring? A coloring in which adjacent vertices receive different colors. For example, if you take this graph C4, if it is a simple coloring, we will say you color this with say red, and this with say blue, and this with green, and this with say yellow. And I can also say color all of them with just one color, red everywhere. But if it is a proper coloring, then this coloring is not proper. So if I color this with red color, assignment of colors to vertices. You color this vertex with red, its adjacent vertices, they cannot be colored using this. So I cannot use red color for this, red color for this. So I am forced to color with some other color. And now I can color this with red because these two are not adjacent, and this vertex received blue color, this is receiving a different color. Now this one you can color it with blue. Now I can also color like this. I can color this with red, and this with green, and this with blue. So this is proper coloring, this is proper coloring, this is also proper coloring. So now you see that it can be properly colored using 4 colors, it can be properly colored using 2 colors, it can be properly colored using 3 colors. So natural question is minimum number of colors required to properly color the graph, to properly color the graph G, to properly color the graph. So what is that? That number is called chromatic, chrome meaning color, so chromatic number. So chromatic number is denoted using chi of G, which denotes the minimum number of colors required to properly color the graph. So you see that if you take C4, I color this with red, green, and red and green. So chromatic number of C4 is 2. Can we color using just one color? That's not possible. And you see that we need at least 2 colors. Indeed, it can be colored using 2. So look at C5. You color this using red, this using green. I can reuse red because these two are non-adjacent, and I cannot color using red because red will be adjacent. I can use green, and now red and green are there, so I cannot use red, neither red nor green, so I am forced to use this. So chromatic number of C5 is 3. Now chromatic number of C6, if you see, I can color using this red, green, red, green, red, green. So chromatic number of C6 is 2. And chromatic number of C7, so red, green, red, green, red, green. Now I am forced to use the third color. Chromatic number of C7 is 3. So interestingly, chromatic number of C2n, even cycle is 2. Chromatic number of odd cycle C2n plus 1 is 3. For example, C5, C7 and so on. If you look at path graphs, something like this, now you can color them alternately, red, green, like that it goes. So which means chromatic number of path and n greater than or equal to 2 is 2. You can alternately color red, green like that. So you get to see that chromatic number of Pn is 2. What about the chromatic number of Kn? For K3, you see that we need 3 colors, red, green. I cannot use this, so I need 3. So for K4, I color using this red. This one I have to use a different color. This is adjacent to these 2 colors, so I need to use a different color. And this one is adjacent to all 3, so I need to use this. So you see that the chromatic number of Kn is n. So you need n different colors to properly color this one. What about chromatic number of trees? So trees are connected acyclic graph. So this one is a tree, this one is a tree. Now I can color this with red, and all of this I can color using the second color. So now I color this with red. The vertices which are at this level I color using this. The next level you can reuse because this and this are non-adjacent, and this is green. So all vertices which are placed at even levels 2, 4 and so on, use color number 2. The one which are placed at odd levels 1, 3 and so on, use the first color. So it turns out that all trees can be colored using 2 colors. Okay. Now what about bipartite graphs? Trees are bipartite, so that should give you some clue. Now bipartite graph is having 2 partitions such way that if at all there is an edge, the edge is from one partition to another partition. So something like this. Now I can color all of this with one color. No 2 vertices are adjacent here, and all of this using the second color. Now you see that for each of them, one endpoint is red, another endpoint is green. So that shows that for all bipartite graphs, chromatic number is 2. In fact, the following statements are equivalent. What is that? G is bipartite and G is odd cycle free. G can be properly colored, or chromatic number of G is 2. Chromatic number of G is 2. So which means G is bipartite if and only if G is odd cycle free. G is odd cycle free if and only if chromatic number is 2. Chromatic number is 2 if and only if G is bipartite. So 1 implies 2, 2 implies 3, 3 implies 1. So that's what this statement says. So you see that all 2 colorable graphs are bipartite and vice versa. All bipartite graphs are two colorable. If you carefully observe this, what is a coloring? Coloring is a function from vertex set of G to colors, something like red, green, blue, and so on. And suppose the graph is say three colorable. On one side you have vertices V1, V2, V3, and on the other side you have colors R, G, B. Now what you do? All those vertices which are colored red, you map it to red, and vertices which are colored green, you map it to this. Similarly, vertices that are colored blue, map it to this. So that shows that the coloring is a function with the domain as V of G and codomain as color set. And this need not be one-to-one. So all vertices which receive color red, they will be mapped to red. And all vertices which receive green, that will be mapped to green, and so on. So this tells you that coloring is essentially a function mapping vertex set to color set. Look at this graph. So we wish to know what is the chromatic number of this. Please note there is a triangle here, so which means we need at least three colors because of this. There is a K3 sitting inside. Now rest of it you can appropriately color. Now I can use blue, I can also use blue over here, and I can use green here, red here, red here. Suppose you have something like this. Please note there is a K4 here. So this forces me to give 4 different colors. Then I can reuse these colors. So I can give red and then yellow. Blue is there, so give red and green. Green, red, green. So you see that if K4 is present, then we need at least 4 colors for this, probably more. If K3 is present, we need at least 3. So somewhere else we may find K4, somewhere else we may find K5, and or it may be a different structure not having K4, still you need 5 colors. But one thing is clear, if KR is a subgraph of G, then chromatic number of G is at least R. So it contains K3 as a subgraph. You see that the number of colors you need is at least 3. And this one contains K4 as a subgraph. Then you see that the number of minimum number of colors required to properly color this graph is at least 4. We may need more, but this result only says you need at least this. So this KR is a complete graph on, it's a complete graph on R vertices. So this is also known as clique in the literature. Clique is a completely connected subgraph. A completely connected subgraph. The counterpart of KR, so K3 is this, K3 bar, which is complement of K3, that's basically this. So K4 is this, K4 bar is 4 independent vertices. So this one is called an independent set. This is also an independent set. So in general, Kn bar is an independent set. It's a subgraph with no edges in it. So the chromatic number of K3 bar, how many colors we need? You can simply color them with red, red, red everywhere, which is 1. In general, chromatic number of Kn bar is 1. So it's an independent set. There are no edges. So you can simply color all of them with just one color. So you see that if a click is present, then the chromatic number is at least the size of the click. Now graph may contain many clicks. For example, it may contain C3, it may contain C4 and so on. So we define something called omega of G, that is max click number, meaning the size of all the clicks. What is the size of the maximum click? The size of the maximum click. So if you have K3, you need at least 3 colors. If you have K4, you need at least 4 colors. Somewhere else you have K5, you need at least 5 colors. So which means if click is present, then naturally we can say for any graph, G, chromatic number of G is at least the click number. So if K4 is maximum, then say number of colors you need, minimum number of colors that you need to properly color the graph is at least 4. And this one, there are no edges, so click number is 1. Minimum number of colors to properly color is at least 1. And this one is at least 3. So in general, for any graph, chromatic number is at least its click number.